All right, so what we have here is 100 feet long by 10 foot wide, 6 mil sheeting. So we wanted it to be about 10 feet long because I'm going to make a vestibule on the front of the tent, and it's about 4 feet up and 4 foot down the tent, so 8 feet. I'm going to go ahead and cut this 10 by 10, and then we'll modify from there. So So I'm going to cut right along the edge of the box, so that way I'll have the straightest cut. And don't tell Mom I got the kitchen scissors. She hates when I do this. I think she uses Easy Cut chicken and meat and all kinds of stuff, but I grab them for my projects. I also bought the grommets. So we're going to take this 6 mil sheeting and we're going to put grommets in the proper places. But the Stand Sport tent, I've had it up since last Friday, 7 days straight. Flooded with water right now. It will not stand up to the elements. If you notice on the opposite end, they didn't cut it straight from the factory, so you're going to have to do that too. So I'm just going to make a cut straight across from here to try to straighten this up, because that only caused me issues later on down the road. Now, I think obviously you should have a straight edge over here, but I'm winging it. I don't have a lot of time. However, measure twice, cut once, right? But that looks pretty good. So we're cut. Next step is I need a marker to mark out where the grommets are going to go, etc. So let's get back to it. All right, welcome back to Tim's Off Grid. I've got our 10 by 10 sheet of 6 mil that we just cut. I need to make some marks for where the grommets go. Since it is 10 by 10, there's no right or wrong place at this point to roll out the 6 mil sheeting in terms of, unrolling it initially. We will want to make sure it's centered, etc. Now, I made it larger than needed or larger than necessary because it's easier to cut material off of here than it will be to add material, obviously. Now, I think there's a major seam right here, straight down the middle, that might, without the tape measure, might tell me that this is the middle, but let me double check that. Nope, that is not accurate. So pay no attention to that. So it's just off center. And again, if it's too long, we cut material off. A couple things I was thinking was we probably want to have a little bit hang off the back, because that will help rain on the back. And I wanted to have extra on the front because I'm going to use a hiking stick to create a vestibule up here on the front that could help you get in and out, get your stuff prepped, all that good stuff. So let me double check how much I want to have hanging off the front, because when I measured this, I measured it right here for 10 feet. All right, that's looking good. And I've got about 8 inches of overhang over here. You play with whatever works for you, right? So I'm just coming up with some ideas. Now, the other thing about this overlap, I have tarp clips. I am going to change where we're grabbed on the side. And I'm going to grab differently with the tarp clip and modify that with a rope, etc. This extra material helps me play around with where that's going to come down. All right, so I'm going to make a couple marks here for where I want to have grommets put into this. So probably want to have a grommet not at the edge, because I probably want to fold this over too, but probably somewhere right about here. Right here. Now, obviously, you don't have to put a grommet in here. You just poke holes. I may want to wait until I can pull this tight to mark the hole for this other grommet over here. Obviously, I could go ahead and mark some places down here, and I probably want to double this over when I put the grommet in down here. So probably fold it over, then mark where you want your hole to be. And look, I could be overcomplicating this. You could make this one for one. You could make it line up with the tent. You know, there's so many different things you could do with this. I'm just not going to sit here and remodify from 10 by 10 to 10 by 8 or whatever. So that's why, you know, I'm just moving this morning, just showing you quick and dirty way how to do this. But you sit there and you modify to fit your needs. The 6mm plastic sheeting, very affordable, not that expensive, will be your lifesaver when you take this tent out in the rain. Will be a cheap rainfly, and rain is not coming through 6mm sheeting. And I've got 6mm sheeting that I've probably had since, I want to say, 2008, 2010, that I still use today as ground cloth. Actually, it's under that tent right now. So this 6mm sheeting I bought from Campmore around that 2008, 2010 era. All right, I'm gonna do the grommets next. All right, here we are with what we're gonna do. I've got the grommet kit here. You can buy all sorts of grommet kits on Amazon or wherever you want to buy things. I just did a quick search on Amazon for a grommet kit that could be used for tarps, etc. They give you a really good manual that lays out there. So in the kit, you will have the grommets and the tools. All right, and they have separated the two parts of the grommet right there, and then they have given you a grommet tool, which is fantastic. So prepare all your tools. Place the cutting block. Put the hole cutter in place that install the grommet. Tap around the bottom of the cutter evenly. Punch the hole. So, all right, what I had said earlier was fold the sides, because I want this to be to have a little bit more rigidity. Make sure you fold under so it doesn't become a catch. All right, and there we go. We have folded under. Now, obviously, let me grab a block of wood. I don't want to be hammering into asphalt. So be right back. These are a piece of blocks of wood from when I was doing my chainsaw milling. So these look like they'll work out well. I didn't want to grab like a 4x4 because then that'll be pretty awkward. So I'm going to line up that tool, and you can kind of move it around in a circular motion while you tap. All right, there you go. Simple. And we are going to flow through this. Some people got to go to work this morning. Imagine that. Look at that. One tap, I almost had it. Like 2 taps, it was done. So this is way, way, way easier than if you were working on actual tarp material. Just remember that. There you go. Same thing, we need to fold under over here. So start from one end and start folding under, moving towards the opposite end. I probably shared earlier in the first video we did on the stand sport that when I was in Scouts in the late 80s into the early 90s, all we had were pup tents, and everybody had a visqueen rainfly. I don't see these anymore because I don't often see pup tents anymore, because everybody's got like state-of-the-art dome tents all the time now, so you don't see as many pup tents. But from some of the reactions that I've gotten from the stand sport video that we posted, a lot of you still use pup tents, and a lot of you really like your stand sport. So I wanted to share this video, make the stand sport more useful for many applications. All right, the other one we wanted to do was this one back here on the back. And you know what we really need to do? We need to double up back here on the back. So let's do that, which means we'll have to redo the one on the end. So I didn't really catch that a while ago. This is actually the front of the tent, because we don't need, there's already overlap that we built into this. So same idea, start folding over from one side so it'll maintain, and you got to keep checking it. Maybe we use the hammer over here to make this stay in place, because it's going to want to unfurl as you're going along. And there we go. Look at that. It's working out really, really well. There we are. So like I said, we'll redo these 2 corners, but it's better that we folded this over. You want more strength on here, and as you fold it over, you need to make sure the original fold held as well. All right, so there we are. So you got 2 folds on this one corner, don't forget that. And you might want to move it around in a circular pattern while you're hitting it, so it gets the full circle. Remember, we didn't do that one yet because we want to pull it tight. So that one is not in play yet. All right, one last one, and then we're going to go over there and pull it tight and measure out our last hole. All right, and we are rolling, and I can still get to work on time, which is a plus. Right, we nailed it. Let's put it on. The grommets. So, almost missed that important piece. Trying to go too fast, right? About to really mess it up. All right, the next instructions on here, and I got the kit, is insert the tall half, which is, it's obvious which one is the tall half, in the base tool. So this is your base tool right here. All right. So the grommet will sit in this base tool to hold it in place. So you'll take the tall one, you'll put it in that base tool. It's going to hold it in place. And then you'll take the tool and you're going to tap it on, but do not overexert. Here we go. All right, you got the tall part sticking up. So, all right. So you're gonna want the shoulder facing up when you put the top one on. The shoulder's facing up like this. And what's gonna happen is you're rolling the extruded part of the bottom of the grommet. It's rolling over, all right? Wow, that's quite impressive. And look at that. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, we're rolling. Next. All right, same thing. Bottom tool. Bottom part of the grommet. Push through the hole. It's facing up. Lay the grommet with its shoulder facing up. Put on the tool. Tap. I may be exerting too much force. I don't know yet. One tap might even do it. Who knows? Hey, what's important about using this, etc., is that it's less likely that our stake can pull through the plastic because we're doubling over the plastic and we're putting grommets through the plastic. So I think that's an important part of this process. If you want your plastic to last and not be affected by the wind, etc. So here we are, and tap, and done again. And I had a bunch fall out. But you see how this doesn't take a lot of time, but it's going to pay you back in dividends when now you could take stand sport tent all over the place because your plastic rainfly is not going to weigh that much. And the stand sport was like 3 pounds or whatever it was. You have to go back. I think at the beginning of one of those videos, I tell you how much it weighed. All right, next. See, we're almost done already. And then we'll get back to what we need to do over there for the last one. But we just need to pull it tight so we can get mark the hole for the last one. See, look at that. It's looking good. It rolls right over. All right, we got 2 more, and then we'll get back out there. So let me fold. Go. It's probably going to turn out to be a longer video, but you'll see all the steps in the process, what it took and how long it took. And you'll probably be able to go faster because you'll have looked at the video and you know exactly what needs to be done and in what sequence versus I'm figuring out as we go. In the past, I would have been lazy and poked holes in the plastic and just went with it. I want to do something that's going to last and that's harder to, fall apart. And I don't know about where you are in the country, but we've had rain almost every day for a while now. There's no rain right now, but we'll have rain later today. All right, that's it. I need to say goodbye to everybody as they go to school. And then I'm going to come back to this and finish it up. Be back. All right, before we put the tarp on there, or you know what I'm saying, our new 6mm rainfly, I got the tarp clips because I want to change the point at which we're grabbing onto the side of the tent, because I showed before, it's just not optimal to grab from here. We should be grabbing lower, and look what it does. It gets us out here and then drops it even with the side of the tent. Because we have the 6mm, this is not going to matter that it's grabbing on here. I got a much better tarp clip. I've seen ones before that have a slide on it. This one has a knob that's going to turn to tighten it. Way, way, way better than one that has a slide. So I'd recommend you look for one that tightens down with a knob, and you get a hole for your rope. So we're going to untie the rope that's on the tent, clip this, and then retie it. On here, you just want to use 2 1/2 inches because this is not a sliding knot or anything like that. And then 2 1/2 inches is always very easy to undo. I see in here somebody did taut line to the tent. Could have been me. Who knows? Maybe it came that way. Maybe it didn't. Anyways, I want to grab down here lower so that I can get out to here, and then we're going to pull down. All right, so I'm going to grab a little bit of the tent material here in line with where that one is, because I know that center line of the tent, and then we're going to tighten. And if this isn't a good location initially, you can always change this. We're not going to change it today because we're trying to move through this and just give you an idea of the theory of operation, and you can do all the mods you want from there. So just 2 1/2 inches and tighten right up to the tarp clip. You can always come down here. A lot of times you have whatever's going down here with the built-in device, or you can tie your taut line down here to pull the slack out of everything. Unfortunately, somebody put a knot right there, but I got it out. There we go. And I'm going to have to pull this out a little bit. And always anchor your stake away from the tent and get yourself like the longest angle you can. It's just like anchoring a boat. You don't anchor a boat like this, you anchor a boat like that. It's harder to pull the anchor out. All right, this is also a good time to come back in here and check all your anchoring points, etc. So look, a couple more tarp clips might even help you better. So if you had a tarp clip here also, so that would help. So I'm just pointing out some obvious, you may not can see that as well back there, but so what I was saying is another tarp clip right here might pull out the side a little bit better. There's a lot of ideas you can do here. All right, let me do this one more time on the other side so we're somewhat symmetrical. We got 2 1/2 inches over here. Fantastic. We're going to come right below this strap, about 6 inches or so. And we're going to grab on with a tarp clip. And it looks like the way these tarp clips are made, they will not damage the material of the tent, which is also important, because what if you are camping and you don't have your rainfly, then you could have a rip that gets larger and larger over time for insects, etc., to come into the tent. Now, one of the things that wasn't so great about this tent was my version does not have that rear window, so you don't have the most excellent of ventilation options inside that tent. And what you see right there was that adjusting slide that's built into that tent wasn't properly installed, but I do have a taut line down here. So we're going to adjust this taut line to get the string shorter over here. And again, we're going to push in all the way, angle the stake away from the tent. And in Virginia, it's a little harder not to hit something up here, especially in Northern Virginia. We have red clay soil, and you have rocks all over the place. All right, we're going to pull this on so that we can mark our last hole and then get that made. The other thing is, We've got to get our front, what we're going to use for our front pole, which you're going to see here real quickly, is what we do typically when I make a tarp shelter, is I use a hiking stick for a pole. Hey, buddy. All right. I'll see you later.
Your video.
That's right. Bye. Have a good day at school. Yeah, I missed one of my holes right here, but I'm just going to push through for now. So I push through because we don't have time. So don't forget, you'll have the 3 side, or the 3 down each side. You have the one for the hiking stick. Do the one right past the hiking stick. Don't forget, like I did. And then I'm going to pull this tight, and I'm going to push through right here. So all intents and purposes, you could go back and re-grommet these, or you can push them through like I'm doing for right now. Now, grab this hiking stick. And some of my spare rope. So, remember I said, hey, I want to make this a vestibule out here on the front that could make going into and out of the tent way easier, especially if it's raining, right? So here we are. And maybe I'm going to lean this down just slightly. All right, there we go. So there's that. Let's get a piece of rope so that we can anchor this. All right, like we always do, we're gonna do a taut line up here. Just don't forget, 2 1/2 hitches. So 2 1/2 hitches is 1 in, 1 out. And that's your 2 1/2 hitches. And just stick it on there, pull it tight. And then down here, we're gonna have the taut line. The taut line is 2 in, 1 out. So 1, 2, and then 1 on the outside. And then dress it up and get it a little tight, because you want this to hold everything in place. So obviously this is a long rope. That's okay. It's all good. And pull that tight. And I'm probably gonna go ahead and pull all the slack out. And there we are. Now I'm going to come down the sides. I'm going to pull all my slack out of these sides. These grommets are going to work really nicely. And as you put this on, pull all the slack out of it so it stays tight. This overlap that we built on the back, I'm telling you, it's going to come in super handy, because if you had rainwater that's rolling down the back of this tent, there you go. You got the capability that water's coming in the back. All right, and I'm pulling tight against that and the top right there, sticking that in. And here's the last one. I'm going to pull tight to the side and to there. Let me move all these materials out of the way. And then you could put a little bit of plastic right in there for when you come into the vestibule area so that you don't get wet. Now, I'm going to pull this off of here and we're going to do a walkthrough. All right, welcome back to Tim's Off Grid. This is our walkthrough of maybe a larger than what's necessary rainfly to go over the Stanport tent, but I did this just to show you that you can do whatever you want with this and configure it however you need to configure it. So we did some tarp clips on the side to try to pull the tent out a little bit more to get more room. I need to adjust this one a little bit more. We did grommets down the sides for the stakes so that it's harder for stakes to come out of plastic. I can go back and do grommets for these two on the top. I did overlap here on the back so that rain can't come down the back of the stand sport. And again, grommets all down the side. And most importantly, I created a vestibule on the front. You can put plastic in here. But remember, stand sport didn't hold up. So there we go. Again, you could modify this to a footprint that is more in line with the actual tent footprint. So you could get it to hug the tent. That's how we used to do it in Scouts. You wouldn't have had all the space, but look, you can store all your camping stuff underneath here and it wouldn't get wet. You have all the storage under here. I think that's one of the benefits to all of this. And I also said earlier in the video, you could put 3 tarp clips down the side to make this just a little bit bigger. All right, again, you need to modify this because look, this also becomes a giant catch, right? So you may want to modify it to be the size of the tent, but this was the quick and dirty. This is 10 by 10 to go over the footprint of this tent. So again, you could hug it down to the side and you could stake it with the original tent stakes and make it way, way, way smaller. I just made it larger just to emphasize a few things in this video. All right, now if you do these mods, you can take this tent anywhere and not worry about it. But if you do not do these mods, you're going to find yourself with a whole lot of water inside. All right, in closing, we appreciate all the support. Please like and subscribe. Please share. Please give us a thumbs up. You can hit the notification bell icon if you want to get notified when new videos land. But just want to show you another idea of what you could do with what you have. This is less than a $40 tent, and you're going to spend about maybe 10 bucks on plastic. With the plastic, now you are 100% waterproof. You don't have to worry about anything. You can custom fit this. You can do whatever you want. Remember, with this one, I made a vestibule. Put some plastic in here so you can kind of get your way into the tent. You can come in and out of the tent without taking water in the tent. All right, so there you have it, folks. Just some more ideas with the stand sport because I know it's a popular tent that people like. All right, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you all later on.